Namaste. Let us now commence our next talk from Heart to Heart, Volume 2. These are the talks and questions and answers from the proceedings of the seminars of Sahaj Marg during September-October 1987 at France, Madagascar and Switzerland by Pujya Shri Parthasarathi Rajagopalachari. Let us now begin our next talk, the ninth talk, titled The Future Inside. I think it was the day before yesterday morning, at about 3 o'clock. I was not yet fully awake nor asleep, in an in-between state. There were some thoughts about God. This may not be a very cogent or coherent presentation, but merely random thoughts which I would like to place before you. The first thought that seemed to surface in my mind was that God can neither be said to exist or not to exist, and I was wondering how this was possible. I decided it was because we could not look for him in any space or in any time specifically. Nor could we say he was not in any space or in any time. Then this thought came that if you go into matter, we should be able to find God ultimately somewhere. Then some thoughts came about astronomy and how when we proceed outward from this world of ours, the earth of ours, we are told by the geologists, for instance, that at the core of our earth it is all so tightly packed with such dense matter, but as we come out from the center towards the periphery, the density seems to shed off. Then we come to the atmosphere, and there it goes on becoming less and less dense. We go out into space, we come into regions where there is practically nothing, and we call it a vacuum. But astronomers like Fred Hoyle tells us that even in the outermost regions of space, there is no point at which you can say there is a total vacuum, absolute vacuum. Hoyle estimates, for instance, that even in the farthest reaches of space, there is one particle of matter per cubic mile of space, 4 cubic kilometers of space. So there is no absolute vacuum. So in one sense, we can say that in this material universe, it is material precisely because even there is one particle of matter. Then the thought came to me that if that particle were to be removed, would we come to God? Then I remembered Babuji saying once as a joke that since even God required some space to occupy, space should, philosophically speaking, be considered prior to God. He laughed enormously when he said this, but he also said later on that it was not entirely a joke. So then I was thinking, could we call space as God? Now it was a little problem, because all the old philosophies, occult theories of the creation of world start with some sort of original or primeval atom, as they call it. So it seems as if the old mystics did not find space to be God but something else to be God, or if not God, at least the origin of this universe. So where should we look for him? The problem seems to be unsolvable if we look outwards, I mean. Later, we were going for a walk, and since it was a bright clear sky, we were able to see some of the constellations of stars. This thought came that when we look at the stars, we are looking into the past, because the nearest star is about 4.5 light years away. So actually we don't see any star, we see the light which left that star 4.5 years back. For all you know, it may not exist today at all. That is the fate of the nearest star. The farthest galaxies, their distances are measured in billions of light years. But even the sun, the light takes about 9 minutes to reach us. So at no point can we say with authority that the sun exists, because What we see now as the sun is that what was 9 minutes ago. So, when we look out into astronomy, into space, we come to this fascinating conclusion that it appears all these things are there, but we cannot definitely say they are still there. Does it make them God? Obviously not. It is still matter, whether they are there or not. Then this thought kept repeating that whatever it may be, we are looking into the past, and one does not look for anything in the past. I mean, suppose you lose your purse. Would you look for it in the past? You look for it in the present. So I came to this conclusion. I don't know whether it is very startling conclusion that astronomy, geology, these things are not going to give us any indication of divinity because they only give us ideas of the past, knowledge of the past. So what is the use of these sciences? Then it was a really new thing that I thought. It was when we were climbing that rather attractive hill. I was struggling up the slope, the last bit of it I could possibly climb, and then suddenly this thought came to me. If everything we do in the material world is only showing us the past, how can we ever see the future? Then this thought must have come from Babuji himself. The only way of seeing the future is to look inwards into yourself. So every time we sit to meditate, we look into ourselves. The self is immaterial, non-material. Therefore, you cannot say it had an origin in the past. That is the only way of looking into the future. In another sense, we can also say God is in the future for us because we are still trying to achieve Him, looking inwards. This seems to make some sort of sense, which even a person with a scientific education, scientific orientation should accept at least as being logical, because whichever way you look at it, anything in the material plane has to do with the past. You listen to a gramophone record, it is a music of the past, something which was recorded in the past. The voice of the past you hear in the present. Buildings of the past we see in the present. Fossils, life forms of the past we see in the present. And to say we see them in the present is also wrong. We don't see them in the present, we see the impressions they left behind in the past. Now in the present, because recorded music can be considered as condensed waves which we hear as sound, you can call it fossilized sound if you like. So examination of the past does not show us things but impressions. The same problem comes in the study of medicine, for instance. You dissect a dead body and study the organs. You never study that which is alive. They are dead things, again some sort of fossil, something which existed in the past, which was pulsing with life. You see now as dead matter. I might even suggest that when you look at the faces around you, there too we see the impressions of the past, because they are today the effects of the past sanskaras that have played upon them to make them what they are now. Think over it. That is why perhaps it is so difficult to know a human being now, because we don't see them as they are now in the present. For instance, a man may have been a drunkard, a drug addict, diseased, and they leave their impressions on him, in his face, in his behavior. But the inner person may have changed drastically into something approaching even a saint. But you look at him and you say, this fellow is useless. But inside is a new person which you cannot see. And we are rejecting a good person looking at the impressions of the past on his face, in his visage, in his behavior. This is the difficulty of judging a human being. Therefore, I think you need a real master to judge what a person is now, because you have seen how Babuji used to look at people and his vision was something else. He looked into the heart, and there you find what the person is at this moment in time. Everything else can mislead because they are merely impressions and nothing else. So, studying a person's exterior can only be as rewarding as studying the fossils of the past, or the gramophone records of the past, or the glaciers of the past. It can only tell us what was, not what is. So, even to understand what is, now we have to develop a spiritual vision. That is why it is so difficult to know what is happening around us in this world. And unfortunately, our educational systems, instead of teaching us this vital science or vital art, keep pushing us further and further back in time. Astronomy wants to go further into space. That is more back in time. What are they going to find? Psychology also, certain therapies which make you go back into yourself. They claim, rightly or wrongly, that you can even have your own birth trauma experiences and perhaps penetrate into the previous life too. Again, what is the use? It is only going to tell you what was, not what is. Same thing with paleontology and geology. What was there in this period of time? What was there 1,000 years or 1,000 million years before that time? At best, all that they can achieve is to form some sort of sequence leading from the past into the present. It is like saying a ladder has 29 steps, but what about the further steps ahead of me? Therefore, I think the great wisdom of my master's teaching: forget the past. At best, it can only offer you explanations. It cannot change anything. So, how to change ourselves? Start from now, as you are, where you are, and look into the future of yourself. Yes, but Babuji, you just said you cannot see the past. You can only see the past if you look, and now you are saying look into your own future. He says, yes, my son, look into yourself, look into your heart. That is where your future is. So, you see the importance of the heart. Not only do we search for ourselves, we are searching for ourselves as we are going to be. So, in a sense, you can say we are looking at ourselves as we shall be when this process is complete. And if you look at your heart and you find hatred in it, that will be your future, unless you remove it. Now, if you clean a fossil of the past, you do not remove anything. You only have a clean fossil. It is still very much dead. But if you look into your heart and you find hatred there, and you know that if you leave it there, your future is going to be one of the hatred and nothing else. You realize the need, very vital need for cleaning. You look into your heart and you find wrong tendencies. You know what is your future. Wrong tendencies, wrong actions, wrong results. And if you look into your heart and find Him, that too is your future. That is what I am going to become. So, the spiritual science of my master says, look into the heart, meditate on the light in the heart which is eternally present there. Do the cleaning so that all unnecessary things are removed, which too are only impressions of the past. Because a sanskara is only a fossilized impression which does not fossilize in material form but in the heart in a different way. You can say they are fossil forms deposited by ourselves in our hearts by our own past thoughts and actions, and in that sense they are thought forms, action forms of the past fossils. The real fossils, material fossils in the geologic strata help us only to know the past, what was when it was. These fossils in our heart, our samskaras, tell us what to remove and what shall be the future. So you see the enormous difference of looking into the past and looking into the future. looking into the material universe, and looking into the inner universe of the heart. Therefore, when we find hatred, viciousness, corruption, disease forms, we know these are things which are going to govern our future unless they are taken out. Therefore, we are advised to do the cleaning, and the Master, in his enormous mercy for us, cleans of immense burden of sanskaras which cannot possibly remove, which we cannot possibly remove. These fossils in our heart, our sanskaras, tell us what to remove and what shall be the future. So you see the enormous difference of looking into the past and looking into the future, looking into the material universe and looking into the inner universe of the heart. Therefore, when we find hatred, viciousness, corruption, disease forms, we know these are things which are going to govern our future unless they are taken out. When this is completed, more or less, then we see the blinding flash of the future illumination, not in an ocular sense, not that you see it as blinding, but it is something so vast, so immense, so extraordinarily surprising you see. Is this what I am going to be? It is wonder. Therefore, Babuji said, spirituality is the science of wonder. Science is the science of curiosity. So, curiosity leads us backwards. Wonder leads us forwards. I hope what I have said makes some sort of sense. This is the thing that happened 2 mornings back. Thanks up to about 100 meters of the Pyrenees, this is the mountain range in France, and to the company of about 100 of our sisters and brothers, looking at the rocks, looking up into the sky, looking into myself. These thoughts I gave you were the result of that. There is nothing final in these thoughts, but there is certainly a very important direction to which they point, and that is my master's teaching. Look into yourself, create your future within yourself, and achieve it in yourself. Thank you for listening. In the next narration audio video, we are going to listen the 10th talk titled Where Harmony Exists.